This is my second attempt at making this video. Clearly it wasn't supposed to be as long as I originally made it. So we're gonna fucking try again. And if it doesn't fucking work this time, then I'm turning the fucking shit off. But I wanted to just share some advice from Cousin Matt, Cousin Mateo. I just wanted to kind of read from Matthew chapter 7. I'm gonna read the whole chapter because it's just more discernment advice. Again, like I said in my last video, not the video that I did live with my sister, but the actual video that I edited and uploaded on the day of the eclipse. This is kind of a follow-up to that, because this is just more discernment advice, more advice that you can actually apply to your life, right? Instead of just talking about it all the time, you can actually do these things. These are things you can actually do, and it's not just make believe like so much of what goes on in the Hebrew Israelite community. So like I said, I will be reading from Matthew chapter 7, and I'm gonna read from my phone this time because on my phone I have the KJV with the Apocrypha, and Bible Gateway just does not. I looked, I don't see it. I don't see the one with the Apocrypha, but I like the one with the Apocrypha because it really breaks down the chapters. Within each chapter, it breaks it down by section, like what are you about to read? And the only other Bible that I've seen do that is the La Biblia Reina Valera. That's the only other Bible that I see does that, but that's in Spanish, so I'm obviously not going to read that to you English speakers. But I just want to read from this because I'm going to share my experience like I always do. All I ever do is share my real life experience, not just make believe stories that came from somewhere else. Like, no, I walk this shit. I do this shit. So I'm going to share my experience and relate it to exactly what's actually written in the good book. So without further ado, I will start with Matthew chapter 7. So anyways, like I said, I'm going to start reading. I'm reading from the King James with the Apocrypha. So I like it, like I told you before, it has sections, and it also includes the precepts for what we're about to read. So this first portion of Matthew chapter 7 is categorized and titled Judging Others. And the precept is Luke chapter 6, verses 37, 38, 41, and 42. Okay? So let's start. Judge not that ye be not judged. For with that judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. And with that measure ye mete, it shall be measured to you again. And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but considerest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Or how wilt thou say to thy brother, let me pull out the mote out of thine eye, and behold, a beam is in thine own eye? Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam of thine own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote of thy brother's eye. That is just, let me stop there because it said thou hypocrite, and I have to laugh because look, when I was living in DR, a mess, just a mess. I thought that I was righteous, right? I thought that I was just, I'm a daughter of the Most High. I know this word, like, you niggas are vile. Really tragic, actually, but I can laugh about it now because I did that work. I know I'm not like that anymore. But in the last video that I uploaded, again, the one from the eclipse, not the one I went live on, I talked about demon behavior. And I talked about discerning demon behavior, and I channeled Jezebel when I wanted to come through with that message. Now, it's funny because in that video, I talked to how I expelled the demons from my own body, because boy, were they within me, I put in that work to get rid of that toxic behavior and those demons from my own body. And it was only then where I was able to now see the demons in other people. I was able to now see it. Only after doing the work was I able to see the demonic behavior and toxic behavior in other people like that. Easy, simple. Like I have the They Live sunglasses, very easy to see. And it's funny because like I said, when I was in DR, I was doing a lot of finger pointing. Like you and you and you, and you're not doing that, and you're not doing that, and don't you come near me because you're like that, like ill. Looking back, just ill. But it's funny because this is what takes place every single day in the Hebrew Israelite community. All they spend their time doing is pointing out how Jezebel is running rampant in these women, and they refuse to take accountability for their own demons and the demons that are within their body. That's why they keep trying to blame everybody else. So this is really funny because it just gives you more discernment advice that you can actually use. You know, not just discernment advice that you're going to sit around and talk about for hours and years, right? This is stuff that you can actually apply to real life. It says, as you go further in this portion of the chapter, it says, "Give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast ye your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn again and rend you." So what that means for me is that, like, look, when I'm thinking about pearls and things like that, I decide what is precious to me and what is important to me because I'm the goddess of my life, you know? I'm the one who's animating this vessel, and I'm the one who's walking this earth, and this is my representation of my soul. And when it comes to my time and my energy, I'm real selfish with it. I don't just spend my time and my energy on anything. I only like to delve into things that are directly applicable to me and how I can enhance myself and how I can elevate myself. And that's what I decide to spend my time and my energy on. So for example, when it says like, "Cast ye not your pearls before swine," it's like, I'm not going to go and spend my time and energy around people who are not even open to hearing like the good word or living by the good word or anything like that. Those days of mine are over, but that's how I was living when I was in Dominican Republic. That's how I lived. And I was like that. Oof. And now I just have my channel, right? I share my life story. I share my different experiences on my channel. And that's what I give my time and my energy to. I do not make anybody come and subscribe. I do not make anybody watch my videos. Everybody's free to do what they want to do. Everybody who is subscribed to my channel right now, it was a choice that they made. I did not ask them to do that, and you guys are all free to leave whenever you want, because I'm not here for subscribers. I'm only here to share my story. And that's the way it's been from the beginning. So at first, I actually wanted to build a community, and I thought I was getting somewhere. But when I realized that these men in the community actually aren't serious, they're not serious about building a community, that's when I had to go ahead and turn away and go back to doing my own thing and building the best life that I can for myself. So I don't cast my pearls before these swine. I just don't do it. I don't spend my time on these men. I don't listen to these men. I don't pay attention to these men because, again, paying attention. I don't do that. My attention goes to things that will benefit me in my life and my family. It says the next portion of this chapter is ask, seek, and knock. And the precept is Luke chapter 11, verses 9 through 13. It says, "Ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened. Or what man is there of you, whom of his son ask bread, will he give him a stone? Or if he ask a fish, will he give him a serpent? If ye then, being evil, know how to give good gifts unto your children, how much more shall your Father which is in heaven give good things to them that ask him? Therefore, all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do you even so to them. For this is the law and the prophets." Okay, so I need to interject in this video because the portion that I recorded got cut off. So I'm just gonna go here and I maybe will upload a picture or something. But what I wanted to talk about was how the general and golden rule just that you can live by, regardless of if you're religious or not, is to treat others how you want to be treated. And unfortunately, most of the people on this earth, and especially in our community, in this Black community or in Hebrew Israelite community, people do not live by that golden rule. Now, if you know me, you know I don't follow no laws, statutes, and commandments anymore. I only walk what I believe is my truth based on the life that I've actually lived. So I don't be following these laws, statutes, and commandments, but it's just funny. It's funny to me how like the people in the Hebrew Israelite community will go on and on about following the laws, statutes, and commandments, but they do not follow this one very specific law. So people, the Hebrew Israelites, you know, they will die apparently by these laws, statutes, and commandments, which I really don't think they will since they only talk about it. But one law that gets overlooked is this one right here. It says, do unto others as you would have done unto you. Like, what happened to that one? Because if people were operating like that and moving like that through earth, the hypocrisy levels and the narcissistic levels would not reach to the fucking heavens. Okay, didn't it say like the sins of these people like reach to the heavens? I mean, again, this is like some last day stuff. I wanted to go ahead and interject really quickly. I can't get that in depth because I'm adding this audio as I'm already editing the video as a whole. The next portion, if I can get it recorded, if this computer decides that it wants to work and not do its Mercury retrograde shit, I'm going to read the next portion of this chapter, which is the narrow gate. It's covering verses 13 to 14, and the precept is Luke chapter 13, verse 24. So it says, enter ye at the strait gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. And many there be which go in thereat, because strait is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. And again, speaking to my own experience, I had to find myself. Nobody was going to tell me who I was, right? Nobody was going to show me who I was. I had to see for myself. And I had to do that work, take that path and that journey of self-discovery and finding out who I really am, you know? Without all the doctrine, without all the outside noise. Who am I? Who's Zena? Nobody can tell me that. Nobody has the same soul. I animate this physical body in this realm. That's what I'm responsible for. The voice you hear, the face that you see, I'm responsible for all of it. I got up this morning and put my makeup and my wig on because I wanted to present something that's very beautiful, that is a reflection of what I believe is my soul. And from the very beginning of me making my channel, I used to even use the language like, you know, I just want to be right with Yah. I want to do right by Yah. I want to walk the true path and this and that. I have been on this path ever since the beginning because I first heard a Bible verse that applied. It was from Jeremiah, and it applied directly to me. It was the truth. And I kept walking like that. So when I read this good book, I don't read this good book alongside other people. I don't listen to other people's interpretations of this good book. I read it for myself and I walk for myself in my life. I have my epiphanies about the good book. They came from me. They did not come from Saturday school with these niggas who don't even know how to read. That's not where they came from. And the path to self-discovery and finding out who you are, your true self, your authentic self, it is not easy work. I know this. I know this from experience. I know it's not easy. And so many people choose the easy route. Time and time and time and time and time again, they choose the easy route because it is just the easiest. It is not easy to expel your own demons and face your own demons and decide you don't want them in your vessel anymore. It's not easy to do that. You have to be brave and you have to be courageous. A lot of people don't want to do that, especially not in today's day and age. The last days, right? The apocalypse days. Nobody's trying to do that right now. So, again, nobody's going to be able to find out who you are for you. And if you're having somebody else tell you who you are, you're on a path to destruction. Sorry to say it, but only you are responsible for finding out who you are. You're the only one. Not your mama, not your daddy, not your brother. Didn't I already make this video before? The how to find salvation. If I freaking find that video, I'm going to link it somewhere up here like I be seeing other people do. I'm going to put that video up in there and tell you how to reach salvation on planet Earth. I was trolling in that video. But anyway, the path to yourself, only you can walk. And yes, it would be a narrow path. Only you can fit up in the doorway to the depths of your own soul. Only you. Not the people in the Hebrew Israelite camp. Not the people in the church. Not the people at the university. Not your parents. Not your brothers and sisters. Not your friends. Not the people in the workplace. None of those motherfuckers. Only you. Okay? Because when you find you, you will find God or goddess. You will. That's the only thing that is certain. That's the only thing that is certain, is that when you find yourself, you will be looking at a god or a goddess in the mirror. That's how you reach the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom is within you. The kingdom is within you. It's not outside. It's not in your diet. It's not in the people that you hang out with. The kingdom is within you. So you have to put in that work if you want to get there. If you don't want to get there, you will not put in that work and you will never see the kingdom. You can beg for it all you want, pray for it all you want, but if you do not do that work, you're never going to find it. So the next portion of this chapter is a tree is known by its fruits. A tree is known by its fruit. This is the portion of the chapter that is major, because it has everything to do with the hypocrisy and the delinquency that takes place in the Hebrew Israelite community. Now, I focus on the Hebrew Israelite community because I never got involved in any religion other than this shit. But this is a satanic cult. Not my opinion. I'm only looking at people who use Satan's devices every single day. That's what makes them satanic. So in the Hebrew Israelite congregation, or whatever they want to fucking call it, a tree is known by its fruits. So the precept is Luke 6 verses 43 and 44. But these verses 15 to 20 are: beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns, or figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. Wherefore by their fruits ye shall know them. So that is the discernment advice. And what I understand when I read that is, for example, when you look at women actually have the capacity and the ability to give birth to children. And so you can actually see, the product of their vessels. You can actually see the product of their work. You can actually see it. Now with men, it's a little bit different, because obviously they don't have wombs. They cannot bring things into this dimension from other dimensions. They have to go to the feminine energy for that. Now, what you can tell when it comes to men is their results. When I look at this word fruit, I see results. And I look at men, and men can be measured and they can be judged, and you can know them by their fruits, by their results. So for example, when you have these men saying that their intention, right? They say with their mouths and their lips, which are easy to deceive with, they say that they're into the kingdom building and nation building and things like that. But when you look around, there's nothing that has come of all of that talk and jibber jabber. It's only been talk and jibber jabber. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you about the realness or the authenticity of what they're saying? Or is it fraudulent? I'm only asking questions. I'm literally asking you, what is the fruit of these men's words? What are the results? We're talking about a group of men who expect everything for no contribution. They make no contributions to life on this realm. They only want to nestle under other people who are putting in work. And that's really crazy. You don't build a kingdom that way. That's not how you build a kingdom. These people talk about how they're kings, talk about how they're royalty, yet somehow don't have the ability to conquer anybody. What's up with that? What is really up with that? See, I am a woman, right? I'm not one of these women who's trying to be a man. I do not believe men and women are equal. I believe a man is a man and a woman is a woman, and we have different roles based on our physiology, anatomy, biology, and multiple different things. Because the DNA structure and the hormonal structure of a man is not the same as a woman. So, for that reason, I do look at men and I say, what are the results? What are they actually doing? What are the fruits of their labor? But if we have a group of men that don't labor and don't bear any fruits, why would you keep hanging out with men like that? Men who don't produce results. Why? It's my sincere and honest question to you. What are you getting out of it if they're not benefiting you? I have to know. I have to know why you listen to these people over and over again when they have nothing to show for what they talk about for years on end. I have to know. It says, by your fruits, you will know them. And so that's what I look for. I look for their results. People call themselves teachers. I'd be like, okay, when I look at the information that they're teaching, how fruitful is the knowledge? Is it knowledge that can be applied to my life? Or is it just talk? Is it just, people sitting around and yibber-yabbering all day and not doing anything? There has to be results that come from action. What is the action that these people are taking to back up their words? That is how you know. That's how you know a person, whether they are real or fake. What are the results? Are they a new person? Have they changed as a person? Or have they just changed what they're doing externally? Because, fasting and, following the law, statutes, and commandments that these people clearly do not follow. They only trivialize a certain few and then try to demonize and point the finger like the people with, like the dude with the mote in the eye and the brother, right? They point the finger at everybody else, but they refuse to look within themselves. Refuse. And that's something I just do not understand. I straight up don't understand that. And so you will know them by their fruits. You will know them by their results. You will know if this is somebody who is a life giver or a life taker, right? Because a lot of the men in the Hebrew Israelite community operate on a parasitic nature. They only intend to take. That's their intention. They do not intend to give. Sitting around and making lessons and talking about the same thing over and over again does nothing to actually elevate the conditions of our people or the conditions of the kingdom that you say that you're building, yet to this day there's still no kingdom to be seen. It's like if you're going to use your two eyes for something, use them to see if somebody is producing results. I know that a man or a masculine energy on this earth, I have seen, because I have an actual example that I can actually compare them to. I've seen real men. Unfortunately, that's not what makes up our community. Whether you want to call it the Hebrew Israelite community or the Black community, the men in these communities do not produce good results. They don't. They do not. They are at the bottom. They don't believe in education. They don't believe in actually building. They'll talk about it for years on end. They will talk about it until their lips fall off, but they won't do anything about it. And that's what I be looking at. I don't know what everybody else is looking at. And I'm not even saying that you should not be looking at them. I'm just saying, do you ask these questions? Do you discern? Because this is an example. This is giving you a play-by-play on how you can discern the truth. All you have to do is take it and apply it to your real life. That's all you have to do. But you have to actually do it. You can't just talk about it. You have to do it. You have to walk the talk. You guys talk the talk, and you have been talking the talk for years and years and have been in the same position because you have yet to walk what you talk. That's fraudulence. It's a false person. I did not make this up. This is in the good book. The good book that you guys say that you read. Lord. And so this next part is also major. The section is, I never knew you. I never knew you. Precept Luke, chapter 13, verses 25 to 27. Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. He that doeth the will of my Father, not he that talketh abouteth. I love Old English. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name, and in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name have done many wonderful works? And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. So it doesn't matter, you that be speaking to the Messiah and speaking like, oh, I'm a chosen one. Ooh, the chosen one narcissism. Oh my God. The people who keep saying, I'm a chosen. Okay. If you are only saying that and not actually doing something to back up that information, the Messiah will be turning you away. The Messiah is going to tell you that he did not know you. Okay? The Messiah is going to be like, okay, get up out my face. I don't even know who you are. Because you didn't do none of this shit that I said to do. To actually reach Christ consciousness, right? To actually elevate spiritually, you didn't do anything. You just talked and talked and talked and talked. And you're going to be moted when you realize that talk is cheap as fuck. And faith without works is dead as fuck. I realize that people probably don't know what iniquity means. So I'm going to go ahead and just look up the definition so that I can just share it with you. Oops. Iniquity, immoral or grossly unfair behavior. Unfair behavior includes hypocrisy. It's expecting other people to be a certain way, but you're not that way yourself. That's hypocrisy. It's iniquity. And that is rampant in the Hebrew Israelite community because they have decided that they are chosen and they are the children of Yah, right? That's the verbiage they use. They're the children of the Most High. And so they don't have to do anything, right? Because they're just here and they're just alive. It, right? You don't have to once you just find out you're chosen, right? That you don't have any more work to do. It's just done. It's just over. I'm telling you, these are discernment tips coming straight from the Messiah himself, coming straight from the good book. This is not my opinion. This is not even my advice. This is something that I have noticed in my actual real life, applying these actual real tactics to my everyday walking. I actually live. I actually walk. I don't just talk. As a matter of fact, I barely talk. You'll see me talking in these videos and that's it. There's nothing else to talk about. I'm too busy walking my talk. The last portion of the chapter is the two foundations, and the precept is Luke chapter 6, verses 46 through 49. It says, therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man, which built his house upon a rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. That's a strong ass foundation. That is a wise person, right? But one thing that I ask is like, where's your authority and what is your foundation built on? Because there are people who run around this earth who spread lies and talk the talk and have a bunch of nonsense going on, and their foundation is weak, and you can tell in how they move. They're low in integrity. They don't believe in integrity. They don't believe in honesty. They don't believe in realness and authenticity. Their foundation is weak as fuck. But somebody who put in that work, someone who understood that, nope, it's not easy to build upon a rock, but once you get the hang of it, you'll get there. It's not easy. No, it is not. But if you want something that's built to last, you'll do that. built to last, not built to deceive, not built to bring down others. Lord. And everyone that heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them not shall be likened unto a foolish man, which built his house upon the sand, and the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. That gives me major tower vibes, right, in the tarot. See, the good book and the tarot they're so closely related that when people are out here saying like, no, tarot is satanic, they don't believe in actually living life and seeing what's true, what actually happens versus what they heard from somebody from somewhere who they gave their authority to. I walk too much and live too much of my real life to see how much of this truth applies to my real life. I don't just talk about it. I walk my talk, steadily building my house upon a rock. I'm not done building. I'm steadily building. And it came to pass, when the Messiah had ended these sayings, the people were astonished at his doctrine, for he taught them as one having authority, and not as the scribes. This should be my final take in making this video. I have been struggling to make it now for like 2 hours. Basically, it's just going to come. I have to just mention this because in the last video that I uploaded, the one on the day of the eclipse, I said that I'm a witch. And if you know your history and you actually study and you actually are able to connect dots between what you learned in the schoolhouse versus what took place on planet Earth, you see that back in the day, witches, right, in Massachusetts, Salem, and all that good stuff, they were burned at the stake just like the Messiah was. Okay? That's how they treated witches. Now, if you ask me, there's a really good correlation between those two. Who were these divine women? These women who were always said to be doing the works of evil, but likely were just spilling the real beans and doing that real true shit like the Messiah himself. Right? I can see the metaphor in all of this, and then I can see the real life application of all of this. And so when I come on here, all I do is share my experience and share how it correlates to the good word and the good book. I don't come up here to try and teach about a bunch of nonsense that has nothing to do with the life that we're living right now. I just don't do that because that's not my place, nor is it's pointless to me. It's all very pointless to me. I have to worry about walking my path and living my life. And I always have to be worried about that. I don't give my authority to other people to be deciding what I should be doing with my life. I used to be that way. I got over that as I grew the hell up and I did the work. And a lot of people just refuse to go within. They just refuse. It's easier to keep pointing the finger. It's easy to keep pointing out the different things that you see with these two eyes. It's easy to keep doing that. But if you really are about that truth, you are going to have to go within. You are going to have to find yourself. And I'm not talking about having other people who don't even know you telling you about yourself. How the fuck can they? Where is your power for real? Everybody has power on this earth. Everybody. The power to make decisions on the next step that they're going to take. Some people say, you know what? I'm going to boss up. And I'm going to make moves that are in my best judgment and in my best favor for me because I know what I need because I did the work, so I know myself. The other people who have all this advice for you, do they know you? Do they know that you exist? Or are you just another bystander watching their content, consuming their content, and applying their content to your life? I'm not saying that it's wrong to do that. I'm saying it's a path to death and destruction. And so you choose whether you want to pretend to not have authority or you want to give your power to other people. You make that choice for your life. You make the choice. If you decide that you want to work iniquity and you decide you want to be hypocritical and you decide you want to be narcissistic, that is all your choice. But the consequence of that is inevitable. Consequence doesn't always mean a bad thing. It literally just means what happens next. You giving your power to another person means that you are at the mercy of another person. And so whatever the plan they have for you, whatever bad intention they have for you, you now have become subject to because you decided to give your power to them. So I ask, like I had to ask myself, and like I ask anybody, where does your authority lie? Because one thing that is completely unreligious was the COVID thing. I saw how many people had no authority for their own life when that shit hit. I saw how many people ran to get a vaccine because the media told you that there was something to be afraid of. That was some weak shit. And it exposed a lot of people and how powerless they are. Not powerless because they don't have the power, powerless because they decided to give their power and authority away to an unknown entity and not the truth. Only you can decide what is the truth for you after having done the work and after having found out who you really are. I wanted to share this discernment advice because, again, I have already said, I feel like we're in the apocalypse. I feel like we're in the last days. What are you going to do? Are you going to, like my sister and I made in the live video, are you going to keep victimizing yourself? Are you going to blame your circumstances on May 23rd, 2022 on some shit that happened 500 years ago? Is that the route you really want to take? The powerless route, the victim route, the weak route? Or are you going to decide, you know what? My ancestors threw down for me. My ancestors did some shit. My ancestors weren't strong enough to fight off the enemy, but shoot, I think I can do something now. It all comes down to choices. And if you have low integrity, you're going to get scooped up and pimped out by these demonic entities that are out here. It's just going to happen. You have to expel the demons. You have to face them yourself and fight them off yourself. Build your temple. Build your foundation on a rock, not on a fucking hill of sand. Come on. I didn't say this. I'm just reiterating what is in the good book. What are you going to do? It's your choice every day. It's not somebody making these choices for you. It's you deciding to be powerless. That's why witches got burnt at the stake. That's why the Messiah got burnt at the stake. They had some authority over their lives and they didn't listen to, and they didn't give a fuck what anybody else had to say. Because all the other people were doing was yapping. That's all the fuck they were doing. Yapping, being hypocritical, pointing the finger, and saying a bunch of shit and not doing shit. How are you going to wind up? What's your choice? I've said it over and over and over again. I'm not here to teach. I'm here to share my real life experience. I only speak from experience. I do not speak from somebody else's ideas and opinions. That's really raggedy to me. That's not how I roll, and certainly not how I live my life. I just walk and I see. I see truth, I see lies, and I have a choice. At every moment of every day, I decide what I get to do for my life. That's me. I don't need to turn to anybody else to get permission. I don't need to turn to anybody else to see what I should do next. I already did the work to find out what's best for me. And so I operate in a way that constantly is in alignment with what is best for me. The good book helps me do that. These metaphors in this good book help me see who I should avoid, who I need to stay away from, because they didn't do the work like I did. And when you do the work, yes, you become more precious and you realize your energy is not for everybody. Not everybody's deserving to even be around you. So that's the other discernment advice I wanted to share from Cousin Matthew. From the Messiah himself. This is the other discernment advice that I just wanted to come out here today and share with you, because I see that people are still struggling with discernment. And unlike being somebody who's snooty and who's just saying these people are stupid as fuck, I'm at least going to share my experience so that you have a real life example and you can then take a look at your own life and see maybe what you can do or not do, because it's up to you. So, as always, if you watch this video to the end, thank you very much. And I only share these messages out of straight up love. Tough love. I don't be joking. But it's not out of hatred, and it's not out of condemnation, and it's certainly not out of foul judgment like these other people. I only see the truth, and I see what isn't the truth. So that's all I have. Thank you.